You weren't alive for, okay, all right. As soon as I opened it up, there's 4 topics. And there's, okay. Seinfeld, 9/11, 9/11, tell her about 9/11. The California Raisins or the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Darth Plagueis the Wise is kind of intriguing.
You never heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Sounds like you're making this up.
I thought, no, it's not a Jedi story to tell you. It's a Sith legend.
Oh, okay.
Darth Plagueis was a Dark Lord of the Sith. Who was
that's not
so
like a history thing.
So what? That's what they asked.
That's not like a history event. Now
I'm going to do the whole monologue.
It says 9/11, 9/11, 9/11.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth
Plagueis.
Plagueis the Wise? Darth Plagueis was a Dark Lord of the Sith. So powerful.
We're not allowed to call
so
them that anymore.
wise. He could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side. He could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. He could actually save others from death. Tune into my new podcast, Certain Point of View.
This was just a self-promo. No one actually commented
That's
that.
A cold open.
Cold.
Who is this redhead?
I'm sorry, they let Bryce Dallas Howard on the podcast.
I did. All right, we're going to have to do 9/11.
They have shitty Gwen Stacy on the podcast.
No. Well, Gwen Stacy was blonde, so you would be married.
But Jane. Bryce Dallas Howard was Gwen Stacy.
Shitty Gwen Stacy. There you go. Great job.
Thank you.
Wow. I remember that was 2008. How old were you then?
2008, I was 4.
2007, so you were 3.
Yep.
This is welcome to Bonding. I am not this is not To Catch a Predator. We're here with my I don't call her my assistant. The Emperor's Hand, Rosie Catherine.
Yes, Catherine. It says it on my driver's license.
It says Catherine.
It says Catherine.
Why does it say Catherine?
So my dad took my real middle name is Catherine, and my real last name is not to be disclosed.
Not to be disclosed.
But
what's your address?
I'm gonna tell them your address. If you don't.
Yeah. And like a 123 Fake Street.
But my dad was trying to get the glasses mark.
Shit on this. No production value. Sorry.
My dad took me to get my driver's license, and we had all the papers and everything. But he was trying to get the glasses tick taken off of his driver's license so that he could, normally operate a motor vehicle, even though he did anyway.
And in doing so, they made a typo.
And in doing so, he was not paying attention to the forms that he had to sign, and he was like, "That's how you spell it."
And that right there is why Rosie became a comedian.
Yeah.
I posted on my story, Rosie is 20. What topic should I teach her about? And everyone, first of all, was like, why do you need an assistant? I got shit going on. I got shit to do today. How has the experience been so far?
It's been wonderful. He has a gun, and he's holding it under the table. No, it's been really good.
I don't pontificate too much, do I?
No, you don't. It's been good having another, having someone in my corner in comedy. It's been good having a big brother figure in the industry.
Yeah, no, it's
where people have their dicks out all the time.
People be having their dicks out in comedy. Comedy and cocks.
People ask me, what was it like starting comedy at 15? Everyone has their dick out. Everyone has their dick out.
Going to Catholic school at 7.
It is.
Dicks or the swim team if you're on that. Just dicks out.
I didn't play sports. That's why I'm a comedian.
No one plays sports. You live in Michael Phelps.
You live in
I didn't either. I started going to sports games when
sports games.
What's that tell you?
You wear your little costumes.
I know the
on
team
the court.
won because they had more points. You theater kid.
I was a huge theater kid. I come from a really musical family. My mom was a musician, and
Talk like Janet Jackson right now.
Do I really?
Musical family.
I feel like whenever someone I grew up super religious. I feel like whenever someone puts a microphone in front of my mouth, I go full Jill Duggar, and I'm like,
is that the
God wanted me to have all these kids. Yeah. It's 19 kids and counting.
And the husband's like, God wanted me to touch him.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You were very religious, but
I grew up, not anymore.
And a mixture of that
and youth. Yes.
I say a lot of things to you. You're like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I was like, you know the song by Usher?
No, you just sang the words, and I didn't know what it was.
You didn't know it until I started playing.
Please tell me you know that song. This is going to make me feel racist, so you're going to say.
I know. Yeah, that's what the real problem is. But every time, we were just talking about this before we were recording. You were like, how old were you when the storming at the Capitol happened?
I was a junior in high school, and I grew up near D.C., and they shut down the schools. Sorry.
Me being a big brother.
Okay.
This might help. They shut down what?
They shut down the schools because a lot of the schools near DC when the insurrection happened.
It's a very similar thing happened to me when 9/11 happened.
I was -3 when 9/11 happened.
I have a brother that's your age, still is. I was 6 when 9/11 happened. 96 to 2001. 6. Let's just say.
And you've never seen Troy and Osama bin Laden in the same room before.
That's not true. He came to my 7th birthday party. He was there. He sang the Lion King song at Roller Magic. He just went, infidel, World Trade Center bombing, plane in the Pentagon. What do you know about 9/11? Living in New York City, you must have heard something about it.
Yeah. I don't know if I should say something, but I thought 9/11 happened like in Times Square. I didn't think it was Midtown. Because I'm from such a small town. I'm from Virginia. Like all we cared about was the Pentagon. Sorry.
Yeah, which there's a hoax there.
Okay.
Well, there's no bodies. There's no pictures of any bodies.
Maybe that's because they were all fucked up.
Well, I mean, look at the World Trade Center. There were bodies everywhere.
I wasn't allowed to look at the World Trade Center. I was a sperm.
Yeah, I will. I'll describe it in as best detail as I can.
I don't remember it from the balls. Sorry.
Rosie's perspective of 9/11 from the balls. We'll have that and more tonight at 11. It's 11 o'clock. You know where your children are? They're in Rosie's dad's balls.
Yes.
Spelling names wrong. I didn't know what was going on either. They called my mom and said they're closing down the schools, and she came and picked me up.
What? Sorry.
She came. My mother came on 9/11. She arrived and picked me up and put me in front of the TV. And I was 6, and I walked from 3 o'clock till Samurai Jack came on at 11.
What's Samurai Jack?
It was a show on Adult Swim about a guy who was a samurai.
Really?
Long ago, there was me, Aku, who had to fight the evil samurai warrior. And Samurai Jack almost got him, and then Aku opened up a portal and sent him to the future. And so
they dropped him off at the World Trade Center.
Yes,
and that was the 9/11 crossover episode.
It was a lost episode. His whole thing is I'll be back to the past, Samurai Jack. He's trying to get back to the past, but he's in the future, and he's a samurai, and he's in a world very unfamiliar.
And his name is Marty McFly.
His name is Jack. I sat. You want to know something funny? When I took Tori to the Knicks game, we were right behind Michael J. Fox, and she didn't know who he was. I said to her, I was like, Tori, that's Mark Hamill. He played Luke Skywalker. Like, this is a huge deal for me. Please. And she was like, gonna work up the courage to go say, and I grabbed her last minute. I was like, don't.
That's evil. That's evil.
It was horrible.
Just like 9/11. That's the whole time you're like, McFly.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna like that, but your kids sure will. What's the best way I can just? This 9/11 was the second attack on the World Trade Center. The first one happened in the
There's another one
in the 90s.
Another one.
Failed.
DJ Khaled.
It was a bombing that didn't go well, and it was orchestrated by this guy, bin Laden, who ran a terrorist organization called Al-Qaeda. But before he ran, and I'm going to butcher exact detail history. I'm just trying to teach my younger sister something. Bin Laden worked for the United States in the 80s when we were fighting Russia.
Okay.
And then we do what we always did. We sort of fucked him over. And then he gets angry at America, starts this terror organization, or maybe there was one, and he was just like, these chicks don't even know the name of my band, brand that shit. There was the FBI and the CIA who had a lot of warnings that this was going to happen, but they weren't sharing intel with each other because there was a giant pissing contest. And George Bush, this was his first term in his presidency that hadn't really been going well up to this point. Like, his approval rating was in the toilet, and he sort of needed a 9/11 type event like this to justify doing what America does, right? Which is go into them brown countries, knock out their power, and be like, look what we did as a result. So there was yeah, I know you. So there was a bunch of hijackers who there was 5 planes, I believe. The 2 that went into the World Trade Center, 1 that went into the Pentagon, 1 that crashed in Pennsylvania. The passengers fought back.
Yeah.
And they took that one down.
Where was that one supposed to go?
White House. There was one that was supposed to go into the White House. And they just last week released a video or 2 weeks ago of a Al Qaeda spy casing. DC. He was
Yeah,
casing
yeah.
the whole memorial, like he was taking video of the Capitol, of the mall. Yeah, all of it, just like standing there.
For those of you who don't know, inside baseball, the mall is all of the memorials. It's Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and the White House. There's one
Martin
more.
Luther King.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry again.
There was a Vietnam, right? The soldiers.
I don't think that counts in the mall, though. Anyways, I tried to do a joke and I butchered it. The reflecting pool is in front of the Washington Monument.
Yeah, right.
It's the pencil. The penis.
They were never going to get. They were never going to get a plane near there, because the only way you can attack the White House is if you storm it. If you go swimming, they were like, "That to America. Where's my scuba gear?" And as a result of 9/11, George Bush had a brilliant VP, Dick Cheney, who was
played by Christian Bale.
He was the CEO of an oil company called Halliburton.
Okay.
And when the planes went into the tower, he gave the order, uniteer unless otherwise directed, which means you shoot down any plane if it was, because we didn't know what was going on. I remember hearing Howard Stern on the radio, and he was going, when the first one hit, he said a plane fell into the World Trade Center. We all thought it was an accident, like nobody knew until that second one came in. And there's only one real clear video of the first one. It's just somebody taking a candid video downtown. Like you said, everybody thinks that's like Times Square, but that's not.
I thought it was.
It's Manhattan is a long boot, and this was at the heel of the boot. That's like the where the Freedom Tower is now.
Yeah,
that's where the World Trade Center was. I don't know if you've ever been to the memorial.
No, I don't go outside.
That's why it's so pasty. When I did a background gig with a few years ago, and Rob Lowe was on set, and we were shooting at the memorial of the World Trade Center. It was overnight, and just standing there, it's the two holes of where the buildings were. It's eerie. Like it's a giant grave, obviously. And it was I'd never been down there before. Don't plan on going back again. But it's the first event I remember in my life that was like similar to what happened this weekend. Everybody's going to remember where they were when Trump got Van Gogh'd, right? That was like my first historical event. Then after that, two horrible things happened, which was the war in Afghanistan. After 9/11 happened, we go, Dick Cheney goes, we got to go to Afghanistan. And they're like, we don't even know if Afghanistan was responsible for this. It could have been bankrolled by the Saudis. And then, oh, look who's calling now. Yes, Tori Cole. So Afghanistan, Dick Cheney was like, we got the main thing was taking out this guy Saddam Hussein, who was the dictator in Iraq, who had nothing to do with 9/11. The extremists who carried out those attacks hated Hussein. He used to say he was a direct descendant of Muhammad. They don't play that shit at all. And Saddam Hussein tried to take out George Bush Sr. when he was president. Dave Chappelle has a sketch where he's first black president, and he goes, they're like, why'd you go in Iraq? He's like, you want to be honest, man? Motherfucker tried to kill my father's son. I don't play that. We go into Afghanistan. We were there for 20 years. We just got out when Biden's first year in office happened, and it was a disastrous pullout. But there was no good way to end that.
Just like mine.
Just like all the other ones. It's just wet and all over the place. But it was, that was, I remember feeling the militarization of this country happen in a way that I don't think had happened since maybe in the 90s. You had Black Hawk, Desert Eagle, and that seems like the scale of Vietnam had something like this happened. Because
every time because I grew up so close to D.C., I grew up in a town that was like where all the enlistees live, who they'd commute to D.C. because the government doesn't pay you enough to live where you were working, and so they'd live in like smaller rural towns. And
it's like Atlantic City, where like you have the casinos and then the people got to live in the suburbs.
Yes. The White House is a casino.
City?
I know Atlantic City. It took me a bit. It took me a little bit.
Yeah.
And so like every time there was some like big presidential thing, like anytime the president was flying or like driving somewhere, like I used to technically commute for work in high school, and anytime I would, like the president decided to go for a little ride, it would fuck up everybody's day.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened.
The car paid for by taxpayers.
I miss
fucking
my-
up all the taxpayers.
I missed my comic strip audition because Trump was visiting the UN like 6 years ago, and I was stuck on 96th Street between 96th and 95th for an hour and a half because the UN is right there on 60-something. So, like, it was all blocked up. But now we know Secret Service not always doing their motherfucking job. Unless they're watching right now, in which case all of this has been
Yes,
jokes,
this is
and
going to be
I'm
like
so
when John Mulaney got investigated by the Secret Service because they're like, how long have you been making jokes about Donald Trump? And he was like, I'm John Mulaney.
I'm John Mulaney.
I've been making jokes about Donald Trump since 2008.
It's his bit about Trump is like an 8-year-old's idea
Yeah,
of a rich guy. I'm gonna grow old and have my name on big gold letters.
And billboards, and I'll have wispy gold hair, and I'll fire people on a TV show in front of all of my children.
You know what the deal with his hair?
No.
With Trump's hair, he got like one of the first transplant things. You know, like everybody now going to Turkey and they're getting the follicles all follicled in. And
Sure, yeah. I have a lot of hair. I'm not going
They cut a layer
bald.
off the back of his head and taped it to the top of his head. That's why his hair looked like that.
Have you seen the video on TikTok where the guy gets like his pubes shaved off and they put them on his head?
And that was 9/11 history with Rosie. Any questions about 9/11? Thank you for letting me teach you about.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me teach you about 9/11. Rosie Catherine at the Rosie P on Instagram.
It's Rosie Catherine.
Rosie Catherine. Thank you for being a stellar Robin.
Okay.
And an incredible assistant. You could tell how well she's taking compliments.
I'm just like,
I'm
LOL, cool.
proud
That's
of
how
you
I.
and
Thank
the things
you.
you've accomplished.
Thank
and
you.
I see a lot of myself at 20 in you, but you have your shit way more together.
I try.
And try not, do, or do not. There is no Troy. Grave danger I sense in her training.
It's another
Very
voice
proud
that,
of you.
yeah.
You doesn't like it, do you? There's Tori Cole. I feel like we should do a bookend. Thank you for letting me teach you about 9/11.
Sorry, yes. I'm a.
Next week, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
That's not a real. Okay. He said bookend, and I'm like about to argue.
I don't want to be too big.
You know, you look great. Look at you.
Thank you.
I would date you.
Wow, that's so nice.
If I didn't look at you like a sister. I'm not in with that incest shit.
Are we're recording?
We are recording Bonding with Troy Bond and Tori Cole. With every bond, there remains a Cole. How are you, Cole?
Oh, I'm great.
I'm
How
gonna
are
push
you?
you a little more centered
Really?
this way.
Oh, now
There we
I'm
go.
Gone.
No. Now we have equidistant, so I can set us up with individual frames when I'm editing this.
Okay, that's fair.
I know what I'm doing. I'm looking out for you, baby.
That's so
This is your
kind.
good side?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I never know.
Me either. Every side is your good side.
I know one side's bad.
Missionary
and one
must
side's
be
good.
great. You just get all of it at once. One's bad, one's good. Let me see.
One has a
What?
bump in my nose and one doesn't.
Well, theoretically, wouldn't the bump be able? You can see it from both sides. The
Nope.
speed bump works two ways.
It's only on one side. Did you see it?
No.
All right, whatever.
Neither can they if they're listening.
How are you? How are the shows in?
Comedy Connection.
Yes, tell me about it. I wasn't there. I
It
missed
was
it. I missed
Fun
you guys.
to walk into the green room and see the bat symbol I drew last year when we went.
That was cool. Did you
That
see the video
was-
I sent you? You sent me yours and then
I
I
did.
sent
Yeah.
you.
I made them
crazy.
take that for
1
you
year
because
later.
you sent it
I know.
a year and a half later. It's crazy. That was
Yeah.
March 30th.
Yeah.
2023. It was great. The craziest thing that happened was Saturday. Joey killed it. He drove us down Thursday. We had the one show Thursday, two shows Friday. Then Saturday was a big moment in history. We were pulling into the parking lot. Remember when we were in Florida and you were like, Biden dropped out of the race, and you sent me a link, and it was it's a big old dingus.
The sad thing is that got me.
That's not sad. That's what they call unsurprising. I thought someone was trying to get me because we pulled into the Comedy Connection parking lot, and they were like, "Trump just got shot," and I was like, I ain't falling for this again." But it wasn't. It was like older people in their like Facebook Reels demographic. I call
so like the boomers know.
Yeah, so I was like, I Googled it, and I was, and then I immediately called everyone I knew. Like, I called my mom, who was at the hotel room, didn't answer. Called my dad, and that was crazy because I heard the brakes on his Jeep screech, and I heard the dog almost fly out of the fucking car. And then I kind of got disgusted with myself, and I was like, what kind of world are we living in where, like, you've got to be the one to break this news first? And then they told me, just don't do any jokes about it. There's a lot of red there, so I did a lot of jokes about it.
Obviously.
The first show, I didn't go too hard because I was trying to respect the rule of law. And then the second show I opened up with, I just shot Donald Trump. And
that's done quite well. Is it at 1 million yet?
I don't know. I'm not looking. The
I
numbers, no, don't look. Just be in the moment with me right here.
I'm right here with you.
I mean, it's been a rough week for social media.
Has it?
I lost a few thousand followers, but I never look at it as that. If you're
See,
going
I
to unfollow me for that, then stick around, man. You're kind of acting like a dork.
I couldn't tell.
Why
if
do
you
I
went
got to listen to your bullshit, but you can't listen to mine?
up or down?
I was at 795. I'm at 791 right
See,
now.
I was like, there was a 5 here.
Yeah.
And I was like, he must have been at 85 because he's only been going up since I've known him.
Nope. I started flapping my big old lips again.
Yeah, well,
But that's not going to
cull
stop.
the herd, get some real ones.
If I got to listen to your shit, you got to listen to mine. Or don't. Unfollow it. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
I really thought you went up, so.
I did in spirit.
Honestly, you could lose my entire following times 7 and it wouldn't be a
I
big
wouldn't
deal.
like to.
Just
I
letting
like
you
to
know.
bring people in. I want them in. I want
I
them to come
agree.
listen
I'm
to
just
me,
letting you
even
know.
though I know I'm wrong.
You got room to lose.
I guess you could look at it that way. I never want someone to think that when I'm saying something like that, it's the end of the conversation. You know, like I like to throw my 2 cents in there. Plus, like I take very seriously the fact that I'm a clown, and you got to
Right.
put that spin on it too, because they work for us, and we should be pointing and making fun at them all the time and not rocking their merch. Are you voting this November
Yes?
for Trump?
No?
RFK Jr.
No?
It seems like your kind of guy.
Voting for
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
myself.
You voting for yourself? I wrote myself in 2016 for something. That was the first time I voted. I was high as shit. And I went in. I was loud. My mom was so embarrassed. I'm just like loud, like being like, and now I will vote. Like I've never been that violently high. And she just goes so quiet and didn't say 2 words the entire
At
time.
least you guys did it.
Yeah. She watched Bonding last week, or the
Aw.
part of the episode, because I put on Secret Identity after, because it comes out Saturday nights, and I was watching it back because I don't watch it. Will edits it, and then I went back and I was looking at it, and she did not give a fuck. So I was like, I didn't watch Bonding all the way through either. Let me check that one. And she says hi.
Oh, hi,
She
Mom.
was very momish this weekend.
I love your mom.
She like got in the hotel room, started cleaning shit.
That's
like
what I
that-
do when I'm in a hotel with you.
I know, because I'm not a neat guy, but I'm
You're
a neat
not.
guy. Things around me are like my head, scattered, but I know where everything is.
Where's my lighter? Where's my jewel?
I find it eventually.
I usually know where it is. That's a nice shirt.
Nice subject change.
It really is.
What's going on with you?
Just been working, being sad when you're away. That's usually I just twiddle my thumbs.
We got to
and
upgrade your life if that's what makes you sad.
I get sad.
You were missed at Comedy Connection.
I felt the
There's
miss.
a lot of
I got a lot of
repeat
messages.
Choice Scouts out there. There was, I have a letter for you.
Yes, I was. As you said that, I thought that.
I have a letter. It's on my desk. Don't
Okay,
leave without.
thank you. I also had presents from Sabrina for us that I didn't go home before I came here, so I apologize.
It's okay. You're off the
She
show.
made us some beautiful art.
What have you been doing?
Normal shit. I went to dinner on Saturday night and drinks, and then I went to the movies. I saw Inside Out 2.
I saw
Loved
Inside Out
it.
1 for the first time this week.
Did
I
you
gotta
like
go see
it?
2. I liked it a lot, yeah.
Okay, because I asked you to go to 2, and you said I would never fucking do that.
I said that.
Yeah, you were like, I would rather eat glass.
You gotta pick what time of day you're gonna ask me shit like that.
You would like it.
Did I not just say I saw the first
I
one and I
just
liked
was
it?
confused when you were so aggressively anti.
I'm moody.
Yeah.
I'm cranky. There's a lot of shit I gotta keep in
I
here.
think, well, did the Inside Out help you understand your emotions more?
No.
What prompted you to watch the first one?
I am a child.
Yep.
I watched Inspector Gadget 2 last night.
I'm just saying.
Great
you
movie.
were so
remember?
anti. What caused you?
I
to
don't
be-
remember why I was anti in the first place. Sometimes I just pick a hill
Oh.
to die on.
Okay, because
And if you fight me on it, I'll die on it. even more.
I didn't at all. You
When
wanted
was
to see
this? When did you ask
Despicable
me this? Oh, yeah, I saw Despicable
You
Me.
were like, I want to see Despicable Me, and I said, I want to see Inside Out 2, and you're like, I'd rather never watch that ever.
Why do you hang out with me?
You're pretty fun most of the time. Like 80-20.
80-20?
Like 80 good, 20 like
Yeah,
a little
I
difficult.
figured. I was just taking in the
I
herd
wanted
of
you
the
to
20. At
understand.
least you were honest.
Yeah, that's like a good dieting rule. Like, eat healthy 20, 80, and then the 20 you can be a
Is
little
that what you
fatty.
do?
I don't know. Depends
It's
on
so-
the life I'm living.
Same. If I'm home a lot, I'm at Equinox every day, factoring it
Yeah.
up. But if I've been getting
Touring.
better about working out on the road. It's something I just try to, like, as soon as I get to the hotel, instead of like taking my shoes off and sprawling out on the bed, I'll just try to, like, because hotel gyms kind of suck. So if you never get like a 30-minute workout in,
Yeah.
I feel pretty good going back
They're
up.
hit or miss.
And then I'll put on the Batman training montage from Batman versus Superman, and that'll get me fucking pumped. But Ben Affleck was roided up. Not really. I'm starting to lose him. I lost a lot of weight.
It's like anchor arms. You
got
gotta like constantly blow air into them. That's how I feel about mine even.
You got good arms.
Remember when I had good ones and you called me, you had my Michelle Obama arms is what you called them, and then I lost them again.
What are they now?
They're fine.
Sasha Obama.
They're just kind of like there.
What is your ideal arms? Because some dudes like power bodies. You know power bodies?
Some definition.
Yeah, like a bicep.
Yeah, like a line where you're like, oh, there's the muscles instead of just.
Well, I think you see them. Everyone else sees them. Everyone I always talk to is like, does Tori know how beautiful she is?
That's so nice.
Everyone I talk to, and all my friends are blind.
That's very kind. Like, I just was in a dressing room, and that's where my emotions just strangle me.
Were there a bunch of different mirrors?
This time it was just one face on. But the lighting was a little. I just. I cannot with the dressing room.
I picture you to be like that White Chicks scene where she's trying dresses on, and she's like, "It's Tina the talking Tommy."
That's how I feel.
I buy clothes online, which is a huge gamble when your physique is a dead Christmas tree. But
that's not your physique.
Yeah, it's that and Gumby.
You can put on anything.
I quite literally did earlier.
Yes.
My fits for tour stuff came in, and I was trying it on in front of Rosie. This weekend I tried. I was like, if I get away with this,
that
I'm
shirt
good.
that you're talking about in the video where you say I shot Trump.
Yeah,
I
got
was like,
two
go
of
off,
those.
King.
I got two. I got one red, one black. That's the shirt Michael wore in the This Is It.
It's giving Ed Hardy a little bit, but
it is Ed Hardy. That's what Michael wore for This Is It. It's a Michael Jackson shirt. Yeah,
well,
Jared Waters inspired me to get
like the Von Dutch hats made a comeback.
Which ones are those?
Those are they say Von Dutch very much during the Ed Hardy time.
Yeah,
I can show you. So
what happened to Pharrell's hat? Is he still alive?
I don't know.
Because he's a hattie. Clap along if you feel like you are Pharrell's hat. Cause I'm.
Oh no, I mean Von Dutch.
Do you know Hugo Boss made the uniforms for the Nazis?
Wow. We shouldn't be buying that. This hat.
Oh yeah.
That had a time.
I don't love the hat right next to it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why would that come up?
Because it's trendy. It's a Von Dutch hat. We love the Von Dutch. The Flying Dutchman. Have you seen this guy? He flew right over the border.
Imagine if Trump died.
Like, he's never going to die. He's going to be one of those old dudes. He's not going to die, and Joe Biden's not going to die. They're going to be old dudes that live to be old.
You think it was an inside job?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
I could see it two ways. I could see it being an inside job on his part, or the Democrats did it to show Joe Biden, hey, because once he got shot, I immediately went, oh, he's going to be president again. And then everyone started posting that picture with him, his fist up in the air, and I went, God, we're so fucking gullible in this country. It was like the Afghanistan war all over again. I think if it was an inside job and he did it, it was, I don't think he necessarily would have had to pay someone at his rally to shoot him because they got guns at Trump rallies. I think the Democrats could have done it because they wanted to scare Joe into dropping out and being like, we cannot win this race with you now. Do you see that? Are you? But I also think it was a fluke, and the kid was 20 years old, registered Republican, as if that matters. The only thing that should matter is how did he get a gun that close to the president, and why isn't every Secret Service agent who was on the detail that day fired? I was just telling Rosie, like, we can't let it, as soon as that happened, and I know I add fuel to the fire, but it's going to be really insufferable couple of weeks, and we have to remember how important it is to just talk to each other, like, and listen. The debate aspect of this can't be lost. We should be allowed to debate.
Well, that became like a shared, like, haha, that debate. So dumb, right?
Yeah.
We're doomed, haha.
Look
at those old farts up there.
Yeah, it's a sad time to be young because all I think about is what is going to be an existing pillar when I'm that age. The environment, wild animals. I just read this book called The Water Will Come, which scared the shit out of me.
Does that mean we're going to have no water?
No, that means we're going to be flooded, and Manhattan's the first to go.
Well, it's funny. We're going to be flooded, but also have no drinking water.
Yeah.
What an ass
It's like Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
We're all going to be living
water,
that.
but you can't drink
yeah,
it.
No.
There's a lot of stuff in our water too. I just read about repellents, like any sort of cleaning agent that has a repellent in it. It's like super.
That doesn't bother me. I feel like it makes me stronger.
It's called like T something, and
Yeah,
it's in
and
our
my
water.
name is T-Bond.
So we're really just.
Yeah, give it to me, baby. Give me the tap. Give me all the tap. My mom, whenever I was a sick kid in the neighborhood, she used to go send us to go play with that kid. But she also smoked during all 3 pregnancies. So, grain
You
of salt.
turned out great.
I turned out TV. Yeah, it's you could talk to people you have things not in common with way more. It's way easier than you think it is.
Oh yeah.
Because you try to talk to someone who has the same values as you, it's just going to be a lot of sucking each other's dicks. But I was watching Jon Stewart and Bill O'Reilly last night, and it was such a gripping interview because they're opposite ends of the spectrum. And Bill O'Reilly had to leave Fox News for a $32 million sexual harassment lawsuit. How bad at sex do you have to be for it to cost $32 million, dog? But Stewart eviscerated him, but still, we still talked with him. Bill O'Reilly brought a whole list of things that are wrong with the country since Biden's been president. And Jon Stewart goes, how do we fix him? And Bill goes, I don't know. And then John just walks off. And I was like, that's exactly where it's gotten to, where you just talk yourself into it. You can point and go, boogeyman, boogeyman, boogeyman. Democrats did it with Trump. The one thing they're running on right now is orange man bad. There's no Democrat coming out going, I understand why you guys vote for Trump. And there's no Republican coming out going, I understand why you guys vote for Biden. They're more or less just going, these guys are going to fuck everything up. And we're the only ones that could save it. Yeah. Will.i.am should run. Where is the love? What's wrong with the world?
Honestly, that's a great song.
People live like hang on.
I made that my Instagram story a few months ago because I was really feeling it.
That was one of my tooth tunes.
So good.
Remember Tooth Tunes?
Yeah, you had the little toothbrush.
Yeah,
that
little
played.
toothbrush that played. It was that, and then I was really obsessed with the Black Eyed Peas.
What's your favorite Black Eyed Peas song?
Can't say it anymore.
Oh,
that
let's
was
get it
the original
started.
Tooth Tune. Yeah, but it wasn't started when I had the Tooth Tune.
Yeah.
My favorite Black Eyed Peas song. I love "Don't Funk with My Heart" because I love the song it samples. Lisa. What's it? I wonder if I take you home. Would you still be in love, baby? Because I need you tonight. I was in love with Stacey Ferguson, as a kid. I was so sad when she went off and did the solo career, but then she
did well with that.
Was good. Yeah, she did good up till the national anthem. Every time I come around,
was that when she was drunk or something?
Was she?
Oh, she like paid herself on stage once.
That was with two separate occasions.
Oh, okay. I knew she had a bit of a fall from grace.
Well, you can't be Fergie forever.
No, you can't be really any.
Some days you
icon
just got to be
forever.
Stacey.
Yeah,
that's true. Jared and I talked about that the other day. We were talking about Kanye, or Joey. Joey and I were talking about that, where it's just he's sort of appealed. He's become the incel mascot, and we grew up with the greatness of that guy, and just seeing him where he is now.
A little crazy.
Of course, I watched Faye Dunaway doc last night, and she was in Bonnie and Clyde, and one of the greats, but like a very big diva. And I'm looking at it, and even the doc starts in all black with her talking head, and you just hear her go, "Can we shoot now? Can we do this? Are we rolling?" And it sounds difficult until you realize you have to be that level.
Yeah,
this is show business. You still gotta be a level of show, and like you're not gonna get what you want. But you're like, excuse me. You gotta sort of press down and be like, hey, I want this done right now.
Yeah.
And with that comes some crazy. We were just talking about how
you gotta be crazy to follow any dream,
but you can't be crazy without accountability. I don't think you could walk around going, I'm fucking crazy, and not do anything about it. Like you should. Whenever I apologize to you, I go, I'm sorry I did this. I'm working on it. Here's what I'm gonna do differently.
Totally.
I don't think you could just excuse it by being I'm crazy all the time.
Crazy has to come with credentials. And the more credentials you have, the more crazy you can have. They kind of go hand in
correlation.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you have X, Y, and Z, and you've worked very hard for that. Then you have some leeway to be a little more crazy.
And you shouldn't be.
No. And sometimes
it happens.
Cancels out. Where
sometimes your environment makes that of you.
Oh, for sure.
You become that. Like we watched, my mom, when she was in town, she took me to see This Is It, which is the movie of all the Michael Jackson rehearsal tapes before he died.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both watching him, and it's very sad because just end of life and like all these things that he's got going on, and he looks sick, and he's talking to his musical director, and it was. I had this thought of like, well, of course he's like that. Look at his entire life since you're a kid. You're in front of the camera like that. Then by the time he was 50, John Mulaney has that bit where he was like, I used to write for SNL, and Mick Jagger would just go, Diet Coke! And someone would just bring him a Diet Coke without even saying please, just because he's used to that at that level, you know, like, I try to not be that. I don't think I'm anybody. I really don't. Someone's like, are you Troy Bond? I'm like, am I? I don't fucking know.
No, you're very personable.
It's the people you keep around you.
Totally.
Keep me grounded.
No matter who they are, you always, from, you know, when you walk into a club, I feel like you know everyone already the way you treat them, and it's really cool.
Well, I try to imitate the scene in Goodfellas where Robert De Niro walks into the club and he's handing everyone 20s and he's going, hey, kid, you 2 more drinks over here on the house. That's a good warming way to walk in.
Yeah.
I remember what it was like being low man on the totem pole, just being like, and there was guys like Adam Ferrara and Jess Curson, who, when they took the time to sit and talk with me as their host, Joe DeVito, another one. I'm thinking a lot of Bananas right now because that's where I was featuring a lot. Brian McFadden. Whenever they would sit and talk with me, I felt like a comic. I was like, oh, I don't have a seat at the table, but you think enough of me to spit some game. And then last summer, I ran into Adam at the Comedy Cellar, and he hugged me. He gave me like the warmest embrace. Told me he was so proud of me, and that was a big moment for me because he was a guy who I looked up to. One time he came up to me at Bananas, and he was like, too good looking, kid. You're just not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it in comedy, kid. And he said that next. You remember Denise? You met Denise at Bananas. Yeah. She reminded me of that when we saw her at Bananas a couple of weeks ago. And Adam was very helpful in his advice when he said that to me, because it made me be like, okay, maybe am I leaning into my looks too much? Maybe I'll show who I am. I'll double down on that. Or I'll just say whatever's on my fucking mind because I'm crazy.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever relied on your looks.
It's easy to, and you don't want to do that because they're fading. Brad Pitt doesn't let you talk about his looks in any of his contracts. There's one movie where they mention his looks, and it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And that's because Bruce Dern's character was supposed to be played by Burt Reynolds, who Brad let the line stay in about his looks to honor Burt, who had just died right before the movie was about to be shot. But he's one of the greatest actors to ever do it, and like him and Denzel, I think of a lot, who are two examples of a leading man, and their looks. That's like checklist 1 for TV, right? Like just perfect looking, then get to the job.
Yeah.
Right, like I was just seeing Denzel in that Gladiator trailer where he looked like he was in Training Day, where he's like, ha 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 ha. That's the Denzel Washington thing. Ha ha. Jake, you ever see Training Day? No. Jake, you know I'm surgical with this shit, Jake.
I'm sure that's a really good
King Kong ain't got shit on me. You never saw Training Day?
No.
This feels like Training Day. There's a scene where he pulls the car over and it makes him smoke PCP. And be like, I ain't smoked PCP,
that's
Jake.
terrifying.
You did. I never did.
You couldn't pay me to do that.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
That happened to me.
Drugs give me anxiety.
Drugs should not be used. Hi, I'm Troy Bond. If you're someone you know is using drugs, tell them to holla, because I could use a couple. Back to Tori.
Don't do drugs.
I was just seeing if you had anything to contribute. I've talked a lot. Sometimes I talk over you too much.
No. As you were talking about looks and stuff, I like the saying, what you look like is the least interesting thing about you. And I always hold on to that when I'm starting to feel bad about myself, or when I start to think about aging and I start to struggle with that. I'm like, no, looks are the most uninteresting thing about you. Focus on the rest.
Yeah. It's also the most surface level thing about you.
Totally.
I guess next year clothes.
Well, then I also was listening to a podcast, not to say that, not Jay Shetty, the other one that I like. And it was a secret ex-CIA agent, and she was like, I don't give a fuck what they say. Looks matter. When you meet someone, the first thing you see is how they present, how are they dressed, how do they have their hair combed, what do they care about. The way you carry yourself tells a story. And that was very interesting to me, because she was gorgeous and a badass. And I was like, okay.
You can be both.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. It made me think, because everyone's like, oh, it's the inside that counts. But she was like, fuck that.
Yeah, that's the only time I get superficial about it, is when I'm going to go on stage.
Yeah.
Because it's a presentation, and people had to get out of their house, get a sitter, pay this money for food, pay this money for drinks, and for me to come out and like have sweatpants on and nothing. Like, I want to either be in a suit or in something that's so ridiculous or pizzazz, where they're like, this is a show. My favorite fit of all time is Eddie Murphy in Delirious. That as a kid, I remember seeing Richard Pryor live at the Sunset Strip. Eddie's was all red and leather. Richard's was red, but with the black shirt, red suit. And it was just something flamboyant and presentational where, like, you have to be very funny if you're going to wear that on stage because as someone who's bombed in a flamboyant outfit, it does not go well if you're not. And, like, those guys both poked fun at like what they were wearing, which adds to it too. Because then once you've done it, what's someone in the audience going to say? Yeah, I know I'm wearing this. I put it on. God damn it.
Yeah.
And there, Jack Donaghy, to your point of like looks matter. He had a line where he said, "Your hair is your head suit," and I've been fussy with my hair and my teeth growing up. Because if I used to have to do the karate school, so like I'd be teaching the class, and I'd be thinking like, I don't want to be teaching where I got something just looks just trashy. I always try to look my best. But then it wasn't until I got older where I realized no one was looking and nobody cares.
Yeah.
But when the time comes to care, you should. It's like this podcast, right? Or like everything. The one thing I want people to comment about is what we're talking about, not how anything looks. The presentation, sound, great. Video, great. It's how you present ideas to the world that make the world decide whether you should be taken seriously or not. Because when my Kamala Harris video was when that went viral, there were a lot of people doing investigations. There's still people who come to shows and be like, let me see if he's got it. Joey told me there was these two guys in the audience in Providence. It was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like this whole TikTok comedy thing. And the guy was like, no, I promise you, this guy's different. And Joey told me that before I went on stage, and it lit such a fire under my ass where I was like, okay, I'm going to show them I'm a stand-up comedian who's done this 11 years.
Right, you've got an iceberg
That's the term,
years.
right? Iceberg.
Yeah.
What's your iceberg?
I got 4 years.
You started 4 years ago?
Yeah.
You hit the road?
Well, in 2019. So, 5. But then when I came back in 2021 was when I really hit the ground running with stand-up, where I was doing it every week.
And now you're doing it every day, basically?
I don't know every day, but quite often.
Yes, Dewey Griffin? I don't know about every day, Brian, but quite
I'd like
often.
to do every day. I'd get a lot better, a lot faster, but I've been lucky
Why do you
to
say
be
that?
with you.
Don't change
I think every set I learned something. Like last night I had 3 shows, and every show I took what I learned from the last show and I applied it to the next one, and it got better and better. And I'm like, okay, if I did this every day, I would have the feedback every day. That
With
lesson.
no laughs.
Exactly. I'd be like, wow, you should really quit.
Silence really does serve as the foundation of creativity.
Sure does. Sit with my own thoughts on stage.
That's scary. I did that yesterday, and I had a mental breakdown in my own. I just warped myself into a
Being
spiral.
alone for too long, I never do well.
It's not. It's just like everything had just sort of caught up to me. It just was on the road so much.
Traveling's
and
a lot.
Just traveling and maintaining the workload. It just I let myself get fucked into it.
You need to take some rest days.
That's what I was doing yesterday, and then I just. But then I snapped myself out of it. I masturbated, and then I was good.
Look at you.
Sometimes you just got blasted.
To get the poison out.
That's what it was, poison.
That's what men do. That's what they call it. They're like, I gotta just take care of this.
Focus nut, if you will. Yeah. I hate to talk about
Women
this
don't
with
have that issue.
No?
We're just chilling.
You don't rub the bean and then go, woof, I'm not crazy anymore.
I'm not like, whoa, God, I had to get that out of me. Nothing happens.
Nothing comes out of you.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like we don't clear
we got ejaculate.
Our little ball sack. We don't have that. You guys have
we don't either. We can. I'm making sperm right now. I'm never gonna run out. It's like a shampoo bottle that you hope isn't empty. I still got to squirt it.
You got to clean it out.
You got to, otherwise you will get literally cockeyed.
Well, then they say there's like the whole semen retention thing.
What?
Yeah, you even heard about that?
Who is retaining semen?
Guys won't masturbate for like a month, and they call it semen retention, and they're like, guys. I've been so mentally clear.
That doesn't do shit. That would make me.
I don't know. Again, I can't.
I don't either because I don't have the discipline
on the internet because the internet is a crazy place.
Semen retention. Hi, Dana Cole.
That's what my algorithm shows me. Some guy in his car being like, day 38.
I've got no semen retention.
I can see into the future now.
My problem is I've got to have it.
And I'm like, I should tell my guy friends about this. Apparently it's really good for you.
And he's floating.
I think this guy's got all the answers.
I don't think so because you got to focus. That's not going to help me focus. Before I go, if I'm performing that night, it's like Wolf of Wall Street. You got to get it.
Really?
You got to get
jack
2
off
out.
Before every show?
I do it every day.
What did you do when we had to share a hotel?
Sink.
Really?
No, shower.
Like when I was in the room?
No.
Whatever.
I can't even have music playing. I have to most of the time if I'm on the when we were in Florida and I was going to masturbate in the sink, I was watching the news and I had my dick in my hand.
Sink.
I'm not, it's a joke. My kids swim right in the toilet.
Whatever.
I had the news on too loud and I had to go out into the room with my dick in my hand and put it on mute because I just heard Mark Levin being like, and why are these Democrat centrists trying to take over the world?
You're
and I'm
killing
like,
my mood.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know if this is making me horny or smarter.
Damn.
But now every time I bust a nut, I think about the deficit.
Wow.
Did I get is that too far?
Nah.
Or was it the deficit or the nut? Where'd I lose
I don't
you?
know. I just
Somewhere in your eyes.
I just was like, we're really getting intimate about your personal time.
I don't give a shit.
I know. I know.
What have I got to lose at this point?
Nothing. Same. I don't care. I think it's like
I masturbate. Sorry, the Pope.
I mean, I think.
Why don't you do something about? Why don't you get a lady Pope in there? Huh? Maybe that's why you dudes are always fucking kids because you don't let them fuck. Pope.
It would be crazier to say the alternative. That's like being like a virgin in today's world. It's like
sometimes
that's
okay.
alarming.
Well, that's a
So
different
it's like
issue. That's why sex work should be
fucks.
legal. But not everybody can get to the point of being able to fuck. Not everyone has the social skills, the Riz. Tory, if you will.
Yeah.
Some dudes need sex workers because they can't have the whole talk on a date. How you doing? What's your name? What's your son? What's your son? You know, and then they develop this resentment toward women because they think she doesn't want to fuck me. All women hate me. Oh, it's their fault, not my fault for not having a job or money or any prospects that would make you want to continue mating. Men are generally the ones to blame, and we are the ones to cater to them. Here's how you stop mass shootings: is you make sex work legal. Because you look at all the mass shooters.
Give them all fleshlights.
No, that's not going to work either. They have them. You need the real thing. Fleshlights, body pillows, none of that's going to work. What more importantly is intimacy, I think, is what
they wouldn't kill
sex
people?
worker. What is this, the 50s?
You think sex workers are the key to our gun violence?
I think that'll help. Either shooting blanks or you're shooting blanks. You know what I mean?
All right.
I think it could help. Why not try it?
I mean, there's OnlyFans.
But that's not sex. That's
they
not
should
like
have an in-person
legalized sex
division where you could order them to your house.
Those are escorts.
That fucked up.
No, my great grandmother ran a brothel.
I'm part of the app where it's like if you're willing to go fuck people, just.
That's dangerous, though. I think.
Sorry.
I mean, like
an Uber driver.
Yeah.
But like the profiles could get background checks, and then if everyone has a clean check, then you go fuck them.
When we were in Florida.
I think I just solved all of it.
No, I mean, do you want me to poke some holes in that? Security, first of all.
I'm kidding. I don't.
When we were in Florida, there was a sex worker staying across from the hotel from me, and like every night I came up, she would be walking out with her security guard, and I'd see different dudes coming in. Yeah, and I was like, that's the way to do it.
She had a security guard?
Yeah, the bouncer.
Was she hot?
Yeah.
Were you like?
Nah. I had a whole line I said no to 5 times over.
Fair.
That's not what my focus is when I'm on the road. My focus is how do I hate myself more? I look at the mirror and I go, how do I fuck this dude's life up today?
You should go to a dressing room with me. I'll show you how.
Whoa, hey, let's keep it
professional. Find the worst lighting ever and then look at that part of your body with the most hateful feeling.
Oh, I do that when I edit this.
That's fair.
Hate. Why would you put
Have you
that
ever had any thoughts about me when you're editing the podcast? Like, damn, she really missed that moment for a joke. Or, wow, Tori's so great.
It's usually me being like, why don't you shut the fuck up and let someone else talk for 2 seconds?
You've been great. I feel like we've been flowing on the both. We've been the fucking boop, boop, beep, boop. It's like tennis over here. We're fucking playing tennis.
Pong. Boop, 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 boop. No, usually when I'm editing, I'm just going, you stupid fuck. You don't know how to do this. You don't have any talent. Stop talking. Good. And then I'll just start talking and hope it gets to a point where it gets nice and closed.
I feel like the views and the comments are very loving, and that helps me. I'm like, oh wow, hey guys, thanks. I need that validation.
Yeah, I think you like the mean comments too.
I do a little bit.
You do.
Yesterday I got a really mean one on my personal YouTube.
Oh, go look at the comments under my last 2 posts. You'll see.
Oh no, is it at me too?
No, it's just. I talked about Trump and people.
Oh, yeah.
What was yours?
She goes, why the hell is Chloe LeBranch on this shitty podcast? My dog shitting gets more views than this.
I didn't mean to write that. I'm sorry. I thought I hit delete.
Oh, yeah. It was a guy named TJ.
Yeah, that's my alter ego. That's what my family calls me, TJ, because I'm Troy Jr.
That's hilarious. It was a TJ. So thanks
We're known for being
keeping me
assholes.
humble.
That's more, and then they took time out of it.
I go 290 is kind of a lot for YouTube, so I don't know what you're saying.
That is.
They had no subscribers. I'm like, well, where is your dog shitting getting all these views? On what platform?
The floor.
So fuck you, TJ.
Yeah, TJ. And here's another thing. Change your name. You're making the rest of us look bad. You're TJ. You got to have a certain swagger to you. You could be able to pop your collar like this. Nobody going to say shit to him. If they do, you'd be like, well, your collar down. You ain't got this, TJ. Look at this. Look at this. All the way down now. Could you do this, TJ? I don't think so, Mr. Bitchless.
I don't know if he watches
TJ
this,
stands for the jackass. That's who you are. That's why your mother never fed you, because she didn't want your gums anywhere near the nipple. That's why she gave you formula spiked with a little bit of codeine, because she'd hope you would have died a baby.
That's right.
You tapped out?
I mean, I
Tap in. Thanks for listening to Bonding. Tori's Nudes will be available in our in-person OnlyFans next week.
In person.